During a recent show in New York City, one of the dancers lifted me in the air and whispered, "Girl, where did you get those hips?" I wanted to tell him, Walmart. We're going to make some hips right now, and I use an all-purpose foam that you can get at places like Walmart, also a measuring tape, a black felt pen, and a pair of scissors. What we're going to do is look at our body and measure from just above the hip bone down to a few inches above the knee. That's the section that we want to pad to give kind of a round area. They can't be too small or they will look strange. They have to taper down. Take your measuring tape and measure this area. Again, just the top of the hip bone down to a little bit above the knee. It doesn't have to be perfect, but an approximate amount. Then take your foam, which is 1-inch thick foam, usually used to, stuff pillows, and put a mark straight down the center. Define your two areas. Then take your measuring tape and mark in the inches. In my case, it was approximately 17 inches in length. And then we begin drawing a kind of long egg shape, a little smaller at the top and a little wider at the bottom. This will be where the top of the hip is the wider part and the smaller part closer down towards your knee, so it forms a bit of a natural shape. From here we cut it out, and the type of foam I'm using, which is a bit spongy, is actually very easy to cut out, but it will leave a hard edge around the hip pad, which we have to taper down. Now we're going to taper it down only on one side, and we taper it down by just cutting right along that edge, and you do it 2, 3, 4 times until you get a flattened area. As you can see here, it's kind of flattened down, it's smoother, and the more time you can spend doing it, the better. Watch a few reruns of Golden Girls or Baywatch, and there you have it. Once you have your two hip pads, let's go to the next lesson and see how we install them. Okay, with step 2 of body shaping, I've already inserted one of the hips. On this side here, you can see it's more round, and on the opposing side, it's a square, flatter look. So you can already see a bit of a difference. You can also see the outline of the hip, the placement. You can see where I've put it in. Now I'm going to show you how to put it in. You might want to do this in the privacy of your bedroom, as you're going to look a little weird. Here we have both hips inserted. I've got about 3 or 4 layers of pantyhose right now until the hips really flatten out, which can take a little while. Before we put the waist cincher on, let me explain what it is. Here you have a standard corset girdle control top, which is quite a long garment. And this is a waist cincher, a very small 4 or 5 inch piece that has lacing in the back and 3 or 4 clips in the front. It's wonderful. I think it works much better than girdles and so forth. You simply close the fastens in the front. I like to pull it down so it covers the tips of the hip pads, which will help soften it, and you just give it a pull and watch that waist go in. You can really pull your waist in, as far as I'm concerned, 4 or 5 inches. You want to be able to breathe, and you want to make sure your kidneys aren't too upset by this process. So I would suggest, certainly the first time, wear it around the house lightly and get used to it and see what effect will work for you. Once you've got your dress in place, boy, you've got hips and you've got a waist. And I'll tell you, there's nothing that says female more than a good pair of hips.